Hello.
The dreaded and appallingly ugly side pod mounted wings for extra downforce.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to Canada. The great Canard in the St. Lawrence Seaway. The great Canada that produces brilliant races year after year after year after year, except this year.
Yes.
So never mind. Let me just quick recap of the race. Everything you need to know if you haven't seen it. Sorry for the spoilers. The race started. It went for quite a while, and then it finished a bit early, but not really. And that's it, really. Canada. Thank you very much, everybody. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Oh, God, at least that we're out there. Okay, that's great. I didn't know how we were going to get through that one this time.
Yeah, I mean, that was brutal. There were so many things to talk about.
Yes, it was an interesting lack of exciting things to do. I mean, you know, I guess we can't expect too much, right? Because it's going to be a difficult year with tyres and the cars not being able to follow each other.
Well, Canada was supposed to be an interesting race. Just happened that this year was shite. So, yeah, there is that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that might be down to Vettel. It's not his, it's not his fault. I'm going to blame him anyway. You know, because he drove too perfectly. He had the best car and he drove too perfectly.
Yeah.
So I'm blaming Vettel.
So you're going to give a prize to Stroll. That's your rationale.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, Stroll's not so bad, but yeah, I mean, I'd probably give it to Ricciardo if I had to, who was the unluckiest man in the race, I felt.
Really?
Well, only that he did the fastest lap on the last lap and then got that taken
because
away
yeah,
because somebody told the girl to
just
wave a
that
flag.
bitch. Yeah.
Well, it's not her fault, you know what I mean? She knows nothing about Formula One. Somebody goes, "Hey, wave your flag."
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. That was really funny.
What were your highlights of the race? I use that term advisedly.
The most interesting thing about the race was the drivers' parade. I'm not kidding. There was
What happened?
Jacques Villeneuve was driving his father's car in front of the guys in the drivers' parade. That was the most emotionally cool moment of the race. I mean, to me, you know,
Was that the Ferrari?
yeah, he was on the 312 T3, the one that he won Canada, you know, the first time.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so it was very nice. It was very cool.
And
But other than that, well, I mean, Jesus Christ, it was bloody boring. I mean, the qualifying were cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it seems to be like a rerun of Monaco, you know, with very exciting qualifying and really boring race.
Yeah.
Which again, you know, I was not expecting that from Canada, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like I guess there's no difference in the straight speed, in the speeds down the straight, right?
I blame the DRS.
You blame the DRS, okay? How so?
Yeah, I blame the DRS because, especially in races like in circuits like Canada, you've always seen people playing with the aero package because it's you know, they've got really slow corners and really fast straight. So if you look for the top speed, you had problems in the corners and vice versa. But
Sure.
with DRS, you know, it just makes no sense. I've never seen cars with so much wing in Canada ever.
Right.
And it's just because they can open the bloody thing, you know, on the straight, and you know, and voila, you know, you're done.
Interesting. Yeah, good point.
I blame that.
Yeah, I see. So you're saying that the compromise is no longer such a compromise because of DRS.
Yeah. I mean, you can never really with an high aerodynamic weight on the car, just because you know that you're gonna get rid of the rear wing on the straights, and I think that's a problem. I mean, I understand the reason why the DRS was put on, and it kind of makes sense in some circuits, but in some other circuits, it's really it's not that technically interesting, and also it makes for shitty races. So
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
I'm
the reason, obviously, the reason it was introduced was because it gave the engine manufacturer an advantage in terms of you could substitute power for downforce.
yeah, it was supposed to make races more interesting. So if you're behind, if you manage to catch up the guy, you had an advantage in the last second. So that was the thing, because it happened that you slowly gained on the guy, and then you were never able to overtake because the difference was so slim. So it was supposed to give a huge advantage to the guy on the back.
Right.
Which, again, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, but the other side of the coin is that all the work that you usually do on the aero package, you can pretty much do whatever you want, because you know that you're going to have a different car in different sector of the circuits. So
yeah, okay. Well, that's certainly one to keep an eye on, because that'd be interesting for people to comment on as well. I think it's
and I mean, it's not something about Canada. I mean, it's something which has always happened since the DRS have been introduced.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some circuits, as you say, I mean, if it's a high downforce circuit, then DRS is not going to make a difference there in terms of the setup choice. But
no, I agree. I mean,
if it's low downforce, then for sure they're going to be, using the DRS at the lowest possible setting, and then putting as much downforce on as they can get away with, right?
Right. So it's always something which is really fishy and really tricky. But I don't know. I mean, it's I'm trying to find excuses because the race was really boring. I mean, the only good thing was, I mean, it would have been amazing if that was the last race of the year. That would have been fucking amazing.
Yes, of course, that would have been amazing.
Amazing, yes.
I mean, it's a damn good result for Vettel, right? So, and it makes me worried, of course, because you would have expected Hamilton to go a lot better here. But I have to say, Bottas has kind of outperformed him on this circuit a couple of times. So
that was strange. It looked like Hamilton looked like the driver which he was like 2 years ago. And because I remember the critiques which were made to Lewis, that mostly when he hasn't got the top material, the top condition, he just goes down a little bit. I mean, his reaction is not the one he's supposed to be. He's way more better when everything goes really, really well, and then he tops it off with something which is astonishing.
Yeah.
But in this race, it really looked like the Lewis of 2 years ago. They weren't not able to give him the new engine. Yeah, there was some echo. There is some echo.
Okay, hang on.
So test. Test. No, still echo.
Hang on.
Yeah. Now it's good.
But in this race, it really is like Lewis of 2 years ago.
No. I can hear the YouTube feed.
What now?
Not now. Not now.
Good.
Okay.
That's good.
So I mean that was my main my main critique, and the other thing, and then I'll let you sleep. The other thing is that it was you're right, it was a very good race for Sebastian, but I think it was a very good race for the car, because Canada was not supposed to be a track suited for Ferrari, and Ferrari actually, I mean, so far if you just look at the results, Ferrari is the best car in the championship, and the championship will be decided like last year by episodes, and eventually by Red Bull.
Yeah.
which will be able to get in the middle. Yep.
Well, that was the exciting thing about Canada for me this year, was the Red Bull, especially Ricciardo, which is why I put some store in what he did, is getting past Hamilton. So I think that was huge, and if the Red Bulls keep getting in between Sebastian and Lewis, then we know which way it's going to go pretty quickly. So I think that will force Mercedes' hand a huge amount to start making tactics to suit one or other of their drivers, presumably Lewis. Just to say a couple of things, about that crash at the beginning. I'm a little disappointed in Stroll in some ways, because he's been so good, right, up to this point, that even making such a minor error, which as far as I'm concerned it is, because Hartley was clearly going to go down his inside, into in the chicane, right, and all he needed really to do was just to play it safe against the wall, in effect, right, which is what he didn't do. He tried to cut off Hartley coming through. Right, so that little mistake there is the first mistake I've actually seen him do, other than his first race, or maybe his second race.
Okay, one thing serious, I was really disappointed for Hartley, because he made a brilliant qualifying. And the other point about Stroll, well, you're right. I mean, he's always been really good at signing checks, and he's never made one. So yeah, that was his only mistake going to the wall. So yeah, I see what you're meaning. Right.
Yeah, well, it was just that Hartley really, was pushing his luck, right? And I think that was a bit naughty. But especially lap one, to try and go down the inside or come out of the inside of a chicane like that, when clearly, any driver worth his salt is going to squeeze.
Stroll lost the car and he smashed him on the outside. So I don't know.
I don't know whether he lost the car, because there was a touch between him and Hartley in the previous corner on that time.
Yeah, he said that the rear tire had a puncture. Yeah. I've seen the images, and I mean, it might. I mean, of course, he would be right if he said so. He's going to be right, but I haven't seen anything, which make me think that he had a puncture. I think he just lost the car and it smashed the guy. But
I mean, there is the rear-facing camera on his car, and it clearly shows that his wheel touches Hartley's wheel.
Oh yeah, he touched the wheel. That's a given, but it's not a given that he got a puncture in the car and the tire. So that's what I'm saying.
There's a little puff of smoke, and it's clearly enough to.
To scare the guy, I see, and lose the car.
Well, I don't know about scare the guy, but it's these cars, right? You can pick up punches very, very easily sometimes if it's just the wrong touch, Wow. So if it was his rim against the outside of the tire, then yeah, possibly that could have caused a puncture.
Anyway, okay, we'll give the benefit of the doubt. I get what you mean.
So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, because that was the highlight of the race for me.
That was the only thing in the race.
Oh, something happened. Hey.
Yeah.
Other than that, disappointed in some of the pit stops. Other than that, really, I'm just glad that Red Bull are getting their shit together. I'm disappointed because we still don't know anything about the relative strengths of the cars. Although on paper it looks to be that Ferrari is there, I'm still not sure, because Raikkonen couldn't do anything.
Yeah, Raikkonen was disappointing. I agree.
Right? So, and he couldn't do anything. We know he would if he could, right? So it's still a question of the car in front is the car that wins the race, all other things being equal. Right. So, this means from now on, it's all going to be about qualifying setup.
Yeah.
And it's going to become a little bit tedious in the races for the rest of the season, presumably.
I mean, we hope not. I mean, this and Monaco were the only two races where actually nothing happened. To be totally fair, the other ones were, I mean, they were pretty interesting in some way, shape, or form. I mean, the last two races were, Jesus Christ, really boring. So we got to hope and see what happens, next races.
Well, presumably the next race isn't using the hypersofts, right?
The next race, they're going to be Paul Ricard, and they're going to use the same tires that they used in where was it that they had, you know, the skim tires, you know, the different
Barcelona.
yeah. So yeah, that's going to be another interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, Paul Ricard is not the greatest of circuits. I have to say, it's one of the very old style circuits, more like Zandvoort, which is it has very little, and I think it's going to be 2x2. And little overtaking as a result. You never know. Maybe the DRS, because they've got such long straight there. Maybe someone will tune the DRS properly.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. So, any other news? Apparently, Red Bull is really close to closing with Honda. And the other thing is that I think someone killed himself in McLaren recently, because I mean, I can understand last year they were blaming the engine. It's okay. But now, I mean, it seems to be that the engine was not the only problem.
No, they're blaming the hamsters now.
Yes, yes. I think Alonso had a problem with the exhaust.
Yeah, again, it's that skin, isn't it? Their skin's too tight and it's causing problems.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's another big issue. I mean, I would love to see, you know, Williams and McLaren. I mean, at least be there, okay? But Jesus, it's such a bummer.
Yeah, I know, and yeah, I'm hoping that if we don't have hypersofts, that we'll get back and they may do something like not skim the tires. I don't know. Maybe not as much. I don't know. Maybe they just do it for tuning to the weather temps, you know, the temperatures.
Well, I mean, I have no idea.
What the solution is, other than saying, right, no heating, let's go fucking dangerous, right? No heating,
right?
And one tire. That's it. You just get one tire for the whole weekend.
Yeah,
do what you know.
And you got to buy it at the shop. Just go there and buy the tires over there. So
no, I mean, no, it's not. You can get them on the internet cheaper, so that's no.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. But Amazon. Yeah, I mean, what else?
I mean, it was pretty much. I mean, the fastest lap, I felt really sorry for Ricciardo.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Verstappen was hitting fastest laps at the end, obviously, because you know, they saved their tires, etc. They're good on tire wear, so. He was hitting loads of fastest laps at the end when the fuels was down, and then Ricciardo goes and bangs in one right on the very last lap.
Yeah,
and because the flag was waved, it was discounted.
Yes, I mean, I was talking with one of my kids when we were watching the race, and I thought that, you know, it would be interesting to give at least 1 point, you know, to the guy which makes the fastest lap. But again, I think that one of the reasons, I mean, on paper it's a good idea, but one of the reasons why it might not be that fair, again, is because of DRS. You know, because you could easily get a fast, I mean, you can be faster than the fastest guy if you happen to, that you can use the DRS.
Yeah.
So I think that's the main reason, because I would love, you know, to see people getting at least 1 point, you know, for the fastest lap.
Yeah, it seems a little gimmicky to me. That's my personal opinion. It seems like some of the midfield teams would literally just be bidding on, you know, 5 laps to go just to pick up the fastest lap.
I mean, we would see something interesting, you know. I mean, if you're in 10th position, you got nothing to lose. You say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go for, you know, for the fast lap. I mean, also they also have, you know, the problems with the engine. They got to last for 7 races, which it's ridiculous because it's insane.
Yeah,
to me, it doesn't make any sense. So they will have the same restrictions anyway. So
yeah, Hamilton was bitching about that, saying it's because his engine was at the end of its life that he couldn't do anything.
Well, Hamilton is bitching about that now. I haven't heard him bitching about it, you know, the previous years. So yeah, okay. I would say, well done, Hamilton. You finally realized it. Good job. It's not that you say that because now you're on the wrong end of the stick.
Well, To be fair, though, we'll see at the next race, right? Because if Hamilton is in pole and wins from the front, yeah, fair enough, right? There you go.
Yeah, it will want the engines from last year. Yeah, right.
And also, this is the same engine that he pushed in the first two very hard, right?
It's how much they last. I think they're going for like 5,000, 7,000 kilometers. I mean, it's Le Mans territory, you know.
Sure, but if you remember the first two races, he had like the pit stops went against him, so he actually like turned the engine up to chase down Vettel. Right, so they were obviously doing that, knowing that they were sacrificing future performance from the engine.
Well, apparently they had some, because they were planning to bring a new engine here, but they had some reliability problems in the factory, so they decided not to go with that.
Yeah.
So that's something else, and we'll see how it plays on. You know, when the season goes on, that might be an advantage at the end of it, even if it didn't pay really good. You know, this race.
Indeed. I think we've got to look at the long game, and but I mean, it was a fantastic race for Vettel. So you know, as I would be bleating on about Hamilton winning, I suppose I better grudgingly bleat for Vettel today.
I mean, you got to give it to that guy when he's able to make his pace, and you know everything goes more or less okay. He's fucking consistent. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he shares that with Schumacher, right? But
yes,
but with Schumacher, he also shares that if somebody starts closing him down, he can be a little bit flaky. So
no, it's true. It's true.
And I think, you know, bearing in mind that what happened at Monaco with Ricciardo losing his MG UK, right? And nobody could do anything, right, to even get close to him, right? So, you know, this is my fear, right? As somebody says in the side chat here, let me just have a quick look and just quote them because it's easier. Tyre wear management is the reason for the boring races, because literally, you know, there's no point in driving up to the back of somewhere because you're just going to lose all your tyres. So you can't get past anyway. By the time you get there, you know, the performance is gone. And you may as well just pit straight away, you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. It might be the case. The tires have been so strange.
That's the following thing. That's why I'm saying that there's going to be very little overtaking for first place this year. You know, it's going to be mistakes that people lose races rather than win them, I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see it in the next one because it's a different type of circuit with different tyres. And I'm hoping that... you know, it won't be 2x2, but hey, there you go. Let's just not be too much of a downer on it anyway.
No, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Canada, can you believe that was Canada? Oh,
really? Come on. I mean, we've had races in Canada, amazing races, you know.
Yeah.
I would say high expectations, but I was surely waiting for a nice race, and it went on and on and on, and nothing bloody happened. I mean, the closest point we had was when Raikkonen got out from the pit. It was really close to Hamilton, and that was it. I mean, that was all the excitement of the race, besides Stroll and Hartley, of course. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what are we going to do?
Anyway. Fuck it. Yeah, we'll see what happens next race, which is Paul Ricard. In 2 weeks from now? It's not next Sunday, isn't it? Next Sunday we got the 24-hour Le Mans, maybe?
Okay.
Am I wrong? I think.
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking up a Murray quote for the end of the show. Next week, Paul Ricard, on 2 weeks, Paul Ricard. It should be good because it's a new circuit. This is a circuit owned by Bernie Ecclestone, actually.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was so sanitized that it's become, you know, sterile, right?
Well, the only good thing is that teams, they do not have that much of a data on the circuit. So I'm not saying there's going to be room to improvise, but I mean, when you don't have too much data, you just go with the cock you have, and if the race is not according to the data that you have on Friday and Saturday, that might be really interesting.
Yeah, okay, I'll cling to that faint hope.
Yes.
The Formula One teams don't know.
Yeah, let's cling to that and to the motherfucking rain. I hope it rains. So.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
So I guess let's see what Murray's got to say. What do you reckon about this season?
And this is revolution.
Indeed, Murray, it is revolution because it's wheels going round. Literally revolution.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much. I guess we'll end it there. Thank you for the viewers. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.